how would we propose to that the court investigate that? Do you have any remedy to, what the investigation would entail to prove, in fact, that that person is a homosexual? I just don't. I guess what I'm caught up on is how in the world we're ever going to. I mean, it's just a simple matter. If people want to adopt a child for what you want to protect them from, which is abuse. They just simply, obviously they're not of high moral character at that point. If that's their purpose for adopting or becoming a foster parent, I doubt they're going to be dissuaded by a box. And so I'm asking, it seems a very small hurdle to jump for these people that what I understand that you're proposing are the ones we want to protect our children from, and how we're actually going to do anything about it if they just simply lie.
Again, if it were contested and someone would put on evidence to the contrary, it could be someone who's been an engaged partner there, it could be someone who has actual knowledge, anything that would be, by preponderance of the evidence, convincing to the court to determine that one side was correct and the other side was incorrect.
But would you agree with me that it is not a big hurdle to jump if you wanted to adopt a child and you were gay? You just simply don't mark that box.
Well, I think I want to distinguish between marking the box and not marking the box. When you file a petition with the court, I mean, you're essentially making statements under oath to the court that you're presenting facts that are accurate. And if you are lying to the court on your petition and you are proven to have done so, then you do so at your own peril. I mean, it's not like you're entering a sweepstakes and you're checking something different. It's a little more serious.
I understand that, and I've been in a courtroom for the last 10 years, and I'm not sure that many people understand the peril, so that's kind of my point. So thank you.
Any other questions by the committee? All right. Seeing none, Senator, have you closed with your initial presentation?
I finished my initial presentation, and I'll reserve the right to close for the bill.
All right. State your name and who you're with, and you'll be recognized.
Good morning. My name is Walt McKay. I live in Mountain Home, Arkansas, and I'm a licensed professional counselor. I have had my own practice for 8 years, specializing in marriages and families, children. I've been a licensed counselor for a total of 2 years. I mean, a total of 10 years I've been a licensed counselor. The first point I want to make regarding this issue is, from an outside observer, is that this issue seems to be focused on homosexuals versus heterosexuals. And my point I want to make is that's not what the issue is here. The issue, in my opinion, is what environment, what family system is going to provide these children who are at risk the best possibility of having a healthy and successful childhood, which in turn will allow them to have a healthy life as an adult. And if you look at the research objectively, you will find that when you take into account non-married heterosexuals and you take into account homosexuals, that they are not able to provide the long-lasting, committed, monogamous relationships compared to heterosexual married couples. Now, I am aware that I'm speaking generally, and I'm aware that we're probably all aware of heterosexuals who have never been married and who've raised wonderful kids and have wonderful, healthy relationships. I know they're out there. Just like I know that there's homosexuals who've had wonderful, long-lasting relationships and have raised wonderful kids. I know that's possible, but I'm letting you know that this is not the norm. And research supports this. Again, I'm just going to quote briefly some research, and this is research, self-reporting research. And so what this is if I were to ask 100 homosexuals, if I were to ask 100 heterosexuals that are not married, and 100 heterosexuals that were married, these would be the statistics that they would provide as far as relationship happiness, as far as issues with depression or anxiety, those kind of issues. And what you find overwhelmingly is that cohabiting, heterosexuals that are unmarried, and homosexuals provide responses of much higher relationship stress, much higher incidences of infidelity, much higher incidences of broken relationships. And so when you're looking at these children who are at risk what you need to provide is a home that is stable and that is predictable, that's long-lasting, and statistically, homosexuals and heterosexuals who aren't married are not able to provide this. Furthermore, as far as stability goes, homosexuals report far greater incidences of psychological and emotional distress disorders, much higher rates of suicidal ideation, much higher rates of suicide attempts and actually completion. In addition, homosexuals have a shorter lifespan than the average heterosexual. The latest research I heard is 5 to 15 years less of the average heterosexual. Another stressor that would be added if these children were adopted by homosexuals is the fact, and again I'm not saying this is right or it's wrong, the fact is that our society does not view homosexual relationships as equal or as normal compared to heterosexual relationships. And what you will find is that these children are going to be dealing with extra added stress in social or school situations which these children do not need. And as a marriage therapist and as a therapist working with a lot of kids, my recipe for successful children is fairly simple. And that is, if individually you are healthy and strong yourself, is as a relationship, you have a healthy and strong relationship, you in turn are able to provide a healthy and strong environment, which is not a guarantee for healthy kids, but you are much more likely to raise healthy kids. And what this research shows is that heterosexuals are able to provide healthier emotional family environments heterosexual married compared to heterosexual unmarried and homosexual. Let me talk just real briefly about why these children are at risk. One reason, not the only, but one, is that these children are born with a basic assumption that I'm not wanted. Now, even though they might be adopted by wonderful, loving families, they are born with a basic assumption that they probably won't pay much attention to until they're a little older, that my mother or my father did not want me. And so these kids obviously are higher risk children. They're going to be dealing with much higher rates of the normal stuff that troubled teenagers deal with, promiscuity, drug and alcohol issues, trouble in school. And so I'm in favor of Senate Bill 959 because I believe not that this is an issue of homosexual versus heterosexual, but I believe, in my experience, and also research supports this, that married heterosexual couples are able to provide the best chance, again not a guarantee, but the best chance of healthy, successful children.
Mr. McKay, will you accept some questions?
Sure.